Have you ever just stopped and wondered about this? You can hop on a bike you haven't touched in 20 years and ride it perfectly, but you can't for the life of you remember the capital of Kyrgyzstan that you looked up like last week. It's this wild puzzle, and it goes right to the heart of how we learn. And the answer, well, it reveals a fundamental secret about how our brains are wired.
Or think about this. You've seen this happen, right? A student in a classroom. They can ace a grammar quiz. They can tell you exactly what a past participle is. But then, when they try to actually speak, it all falls apart. They know the rule, but they can't use the rule. So what on earth is going on here?
This isn't just a simple mistake. It's a real mystery that plays out in classrooms every single day. And today, we're going to be detectives. We're going to unravel the science that separates just knowing a thing from actually truly doing it.
Okay, so the secret, the key to solving this whole thing, is a really simple but profound fact about our brains. We don't just have one big bucket for memory. Nope, our brain is running two totally distinct, super powerful memory systems at the same time. Each one has its own job, its own set of rules, and its own way of learning.
So let's meet the team. It's time to get to know the two main players inside your head. They're called declarative memory and procedural memory. And trust me, understanding how these two work, and more importantly, how they're different, is the absolute key to unlocking real, lasting learning.
The easiest way to wrap your head around this is to think of it like this. You've got a what brain and you've got a how brain. Your what brain is your inner encyclopedia. It's for facts, figures, stories, all the information. And your how brain? That's your action hero. It's for skills, habits, and just doing stuff. Two totally different jobs.
All right, let's zoom in on that what brain. That's your declarative memory. It's all the stuff you can declare, say out loud. I know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Or I remember that vacation we took. It's conscious, you can talk about it, and it really depends on a part of the brain called the hippocampus.
And now for the how brain. This is your procedural memory. It's the memory for skills and procedures. You don't say, I know that I can ride a bike. You just know how. It's automatic. It's unconscious. It's something you show through action, not words. And this system, it uses completely different parts of the brain, like the basal ganglia and the cerebellum.
This table just lays it all out so perfectly. Your declarative, know that memory, that's what you consciously dig up for a written exam. But your procedural, know how memory is all about automatic performance. It's tested by doing. And check out that last row, durability. This is the kicker. Facts can slip away so easily, but a skill, once you've really built it into your procedural memory, it is incredibly hard to forget. That is the secret to mastery.
So how do we know this for sure? I mean, this is a pretty big claim. Well, the definitive proof didn't come from a simple experiment. It came from a remarkable and honestly a pretty tragic medical case. It's the story of one man whose loss completely rewrote our understanding of the human brain.
Before we dive into his story, you have to know about this one part of the brain, the hippocampus. Just think of it like a gateway, or maybe a security checkpoint. Every new conscious memory, every new fact you learn, has to pass through the hippocampus to get filed away. It's the gatekeeper.
Okay, so picture this. It's the 1950s, and there's a patient named Henry Mollison who suffered from debilitating epilepsy. To try and cure him, doctors performed a radical, experimental surgery. They removed parts of his brain, including, you guessed it, his hippocampus.
The surgery did help with his epilepsy, but it had an absolutely shocking side effect. From that day forward, Henry could not form any new declarative memories. He couldn't remember what he ate for breakfast. He couldn't recognize the doctors he had just met 5 minutes earlier. His gateway for new facts was just gone.
But here's where the story takes an unbelievable turn. Researchers gave him a task: trace the outline of a star, but he could only see his hand and the star in a mirror. It's super hard to do. But day after day, he got better at it. His how brain was learning the skill. And yet, every single day he came in, he would insist he had never seen that puzzle before in his entire life. His what brain had zero memory of ever practicing.
And that was it. That was the smoking gun. Henry Mollason's case proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that these two memory systems are physically separate in the brain. You can remove one, and the other can still work perfectly. It was a revolutionary discovery. So, fascinating science, right? But what does all this mean for us, right here, right now?
For teachers, for parents, for anyone trying to learn a new skill. It means we need a battle plan, a strategy to move knowledge from the what brain over to the how brain.
And here it is. This is the bridge. You have to start by teaching the rule, right? That's step one. That's for the what brain. But you absolutely cannot stop there. You have to show it, you have to guide students as they try it, and then you have to let them practice and repeat it on their own. That's what builds the skill, carving that pathway into procedural memory until finally, boom, they can use it automatically in the real world. You're moving them from just explaining to actually doing.
Now, to make sure that initial knowledge actually sticks around long enough to be practiced, you can do a few things to help out the what brain. Tell stories, connect the information to emotions, ask why questions. All of these things make facts more meaningful and help that hippocampus do its job right.
But to get to real mastery, that deep, automatic skill, you gotta activate the how brain. And that means one thing: doing. Practice drills, role-playing, simulations, putting it to use in real life and getting constant feedback. That is what turns fragile knowledge into a powerful, lifelong skill.
You know, when you really think about it, all of this pushes us to ask a bigger question. What is the true goal of education? Is it just to cram students' heads full of facts that they're probably going to forget after the test? Or is it something deeper? Is it about building skills and ways of thinking that will last a lifetime?
I mean, think about it this way. A kid who knows a bunch of math formulas can pass the test. That's great. But a kid who has internalized mathematical thinking, who has made it a procedural skill, that kid can solve complex problems out in the real world. One is temporary knowledge, the other's true competence.
And this goes for everything, even something as deep as our character. Any child can write a beautiful essay about the importance of honesty. That's just declarative knowledge. But the child who has internalized honesty, through practice and experience, they show it in their actions, especially when it's hard and when nobody's watching. That's procedural character.
So I guess the ultimate takeaway is this. Learning isn't just about storing information. It's not about filling a bucket. It's a process of transformation. The journey from the what brain to the how brain is the journey from simply remembering something to actually becoming someone who can do it. And that, right there, is the true goal of mastery.